So in this video, I will explain the 10 linear inequalities. That is, linear inequality is comparison between two things that are not equal using sign like less than, greater than, less or equal to, greater than or equal to. So these are the sign convention we use in solving linear inequalities. We call it linear inequality because the power of unknown is just 1. For example, you can have something like 1 is less than or equal to what? X. Okay? So, or you can have something like 2x is less or equal to 4. So these are the sign convention we use in linear inequality. So linear inequalities is used to compare two 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 things that are not equal to using sign like less, greater than or less than. So this is how to understand linear inequality. So I repeat myself, the reason we call it linear, it is because the power of the variable involving in this is just 1. So that is why we call it linear inequality. If it is involved power of 2, it can become a quadratic inequality. So for in this, the topic of interest is linear inequality we are handling. So in this video, I will show you on how to plot the graph or draw the number line representing linear inequalities. So in doing that, when you have uh, a particular linear inequality question to solve, these are the things that you need to take in consideration before you should be able not to make a mistake while solving it. So let's understand the question. We have a particular question here. We say that solve the compound inequality and represent the solution on the number line. So that is, after solving this question we have here, we are going to present it on a number line. So, and how are we going to do that? Okay, I will show you on how to do that. So now let's solve this question. We have any problem you have a solution to it. So we have 1 is less than x minus 5 less or equal to 13. Okay, so now in understanding this, whenever the question say x is less than 4, which means the values of x are less than 4, which means if you set x now, the values of x now, that is the element that belongs to x now will be 0, 1, 2, 3, but you cannot include 4. Why? Because the question what you're having here is say all other elements, but x is what? Less than 4, which means you cannot include 4. But assuming the question say x is less or equal to 4, which means the elements of x are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, including 4. X is less or equal to 4. So these are the elements of x. Okay, so now whenever you want to solve a linear inequality problem, all other things remain the same when handling linear equation. But the only thing that is different whenever you are dividing uh, the values of the coefficient of x, or you're multiplying the coefficient of x to the right hand side, if you're multiplying the negative sign or you're dividing the negative sign, the sign changes. What do I mean by that? Assuming you have minus 2x is less or equal to 4, and you want to divide it minus 2 from both sides, this will take care of this. X is equal to, but here this you're going to have less or equal to minus 2, right? Normally this is what you're supposed to have, but this is not how you're supposed to write this. You're going to revise this sign. Now you now have x is greater than or equal to 2. By that time you can remove the minus sign. Okay, so this is how to represent it when you're dividing. Okay, so let's solve the question we have on the board. Okay, so now, and this question we have here, we have that 1 is less than 3x minus 5 is less or equal to 13. So in solving this question, okay, we have solution before. So in solving this question here, we are trying to make x to be to stand alone. So how are we going to do that? So we are trying to make x to stand alone. So how are we going to do that? We are going to try to move to add, that is, we are going to eliminate this 5 here. How are we going to eliminate this 5 here? We add 5 from both sides of this, from each term of this inequality equation here. So let's do that by saying 5 plus 1 for this side is less than 3x minus 5 plus 5, less or equal to 13 plus 5. Okay, so with that, we now have that we have this side to be what? 5 plus 1 is 6. Then it's less or equal to minus 5 plus 5 will give us what? Only 3x. Less or equal to 13 plus 5, that will give us 18. So we're looking for x. Divide both sides by what? 3. So 3 into 6, that gives us 2. Less or equal to 3 will take care of 3. X is less or equal to 18 divided by 3, that will give us 6. So that is what we have there. So in drawing this on number line, this is your number line. Okay, this is your number line. This side we call it this is the origin. We call this side positive values for x, and these are the negative values for x. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. Okay, and here we now have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. But what we have from here, we have that 2 is less than x, which means 2 is less than x. Let's define the values of x for the values, other values that are less than x, which means if 2 is less than x, okay, which means x is greater than 2. So which means the values of x could be either 3, 4, 5, 6. So which means you're going to start on 2. Okay, you're going to start on 2, but since 2 is less than x, which means the values could be either 3, 4, or 5, because 2 is less than x. So the values of x, positive values of x, could be either 3, 4, or so, which means you are going to draw this to the other side. Okay, then for here, s is less or equal to 16, is equal to 6, which means this, let's have it here, let's extend this here to be 6. So which means I will now draw on 6. So equal sign, when it is equal to, you shade it, you shade this. Okay, so x is less or equal to what? 6, which means the values that are less than 6 could be either 5, 4, 3. So this is going to face to the other direction. So I will now move it, which means this is going to join together like this. So this is how to represent it on a number line. So if you understand, why not hit the subscription if you understand, why not hit the subscription bell and turn on the why not hit the subscription button and turn on the notification bell so that you can follow more of this whenever I drop a video like this. Bye.